Hello and welcome to the finale, the last episode in this season of Madoka Magica, and yes, I'm aware there isn't more. I don't expect things to go all too splendidly with the Woolbach-Schmidt night thing rapidly approaching. Madoka laying down the groundwork of her mother being allowed out to help her friends, those in dire need. Considering the show is called Madoka Magica, considering it's a tale about magical girls and their place in the universe, it's kind of interesting that in at least the timeline that we are following mainly, the main character has just been a civilian the entire way through. Which makes me tend to believe that it's not going to remain like that, especially after coming across a very bruised and battered Homura laying in the wreckage of the city. Let's see if all of those time jumps were what was needed, if she managed to condense Madoka's power into one of such magnitude. We should be getting some very good artistic visuals at least, final episode and all that. So, sit down, grab a drink, await your inevitable end. And let's watch some Madoka Magica. She just cannot stay a bystander any longer with everything that Homura has went through to try and rescue her from this fate. What has she been attempting to do all of this time with the tragedies that have befell her on all sides because of it? That she finally has what it takes to stand up and do something? Are you going to take the concrete and rebar off of her leg at least? But I do like the idea that this is kind of a personal journey with some realization for her all. One way of putting it, a central point of karmic. Does it include stopping the entropy of the universe itself? The power of humans should not be underestimated. Are you going to speak it aloud or let the wish carry through from the heart? Ah. In every universe, past, present, future. It's not on the scale of physics, causality. Oh god. Rather accurately, actually. So, because of what Homura has managed to do, she's actively given her power beyond power. Yeah, don't hold on any longer. Go on, grant the wish. And if they are now not fighting out against the darkness of one's own heart, pretty sure I saw the name of the title before, but who is she talking to? Is this who I think it is? Yeah. I mean, if she's erasing witches before they are existing, she exists more as a concept? As a concept. I mean, rather others have kind of disappeared into the void, just ceased to exist. So her to be this force of nature. Did she just invite herself in? And if, considering her wish is throughout all of history, past and present and whatnot, just the bloody notebook. She can create and undo events at her will, as long as it's witch involved. And I guess, considering a lot of wishes that people make, her resolve is just a tad bit stronger. A rosebud staff bow? To be fair, the poundage on that is probably going to be quite hefty. So how long that was? Granted that normal people can't see witches and the like, but or do you explain that weather phenomenon? So it's not too much to say, really. Yeah, the fact you do have this deity as such, huh? So she raised the chance of them turning into witches. But what's she doing with the soul gems themselves? Is she releasing them from being magical girls? Freeing them from life? I like the kind of design breakdowns we're seeing of a whole bunch of stuff throughout time. Huh. There was another show I mentioned, like Joan of Arc recently, so it's having that now at the stake. But yeah, seeing civilizations and designs throughout history. She is inevitable. Huh. So you don't have to defeat them in the here and now. She'll just stop it from occurring. I guess if it was an inevitability and they were ceased to function anyway because of, girls and batteries and the like, just take them out of that state of transference. Is she lost in a void, time without time because of her powers? Okay, so we're just, cosmic realignment. If she's going back and changing history itself, it's a little bit of a shift that everyone's going to have to get used to. But that also means that natural disasters and everything just cease to be. So history itself is going to change quite drastically. And how much she is going to have to shoulder throughout humanity's life cycle. But with that wish, does it also include for when other races and whatnot could or have been involved? Are they still classed as witches? That's neat. But now you've got... I know, she wasn't going to leave her alone in all of this. Kind of a bit of a glub. We only just saw her get the magical garb, and now she gets this? Destruction on a planetary scale. Oh, nice impact frame. She is eternal. She is... So we're having a story where she herself just ceases to exist. Like, constantly, like, she is there, like an unseen hand pulling strings and making sure that darkness never returns. But I mean, in a way, are we going to have a being that is also temporal being the only living memory of her? Oh, yes, of course. Omnipotence, omniscience, and other omnis. What wouldn't be great about that? Wow, yeah. All of what has been, what could have been. I guess having a sense of acceptance about it all, but also kind of congratulatory for everything that she's been through. Probably more, everything and more of what Hammer could have hoped for, even if her best friend is no longer present. She is part of them all from here on. She is everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Yeah, I didn't expect the grand magician Madoka to become a deity. She will always... True. She will always know. A parting gift? Isn't that... I'm in two minds. That's both really kind of nice, you know, you'll remember me, kind of carry on her memory, etc., and what she did for the world, but also making her remember or giving her the opportunity. Isn't that kind of cruel in a way as well? Even though she has all the time in the world, she's got to get started someday. So this isn't a farewell, just see you later. I wonder how much they'll hold true to that. Ah, it's like how I see lights constantly. Are we going to get a play-by-play of all of the characters that we kind of came into contact with? We can Sayaka as well. Everything that transpired here today. Huh. So rather than undo the magical girls and undo their wishes and the changes of the world, it is you keep all of that. We just remove the extra danger at the end of it all. Kind of very bittersweet way of fixing problems, but grand scheme of things. So don't screw this up, dude. You've got the spirits to keep entertained. Okay, so she was waiting in the wings there. I guess. To think that like a friendly rivalry kind of thing actually went that far and had that kind of story to it. Ah, a packed crowd. That the acoustics in this auditorium are pretty damn good. Ah, I know. 8 pixels. Hmm. So some things just can't be undone, but can others live better because of it? Also, Homura here, is she gonna have any input in the proceedings? Hmm. Sorry, what? What was that? Knowing if pretty hang on a fucking second. Is that the brother or whatever? I see his vocabulary isn't exactly well defined. I wonder, considering how close they were, is her family got some sense of Madoka, or is it just him? Invisible friend. Just couldn't leave him alone. Funny, they all had the same invisible friend. Yeah, we all do, really. Hmm. Just somewhere, sometime, we all may have heard the name somewhere. So it's more than just... more than just those that are affecting the universe itself that still carry a semblance of her. You know what? If she had a daughter, she might as well call her Madoka as well. Hmm? Oh. Yeah, true. If there have been changes to the universe itself and the laws of logic and causality were altered, how would we know? If she just could be going through a severe psychotic episode. So, magical girls in this time and place, do they just go around rescuing kittens from trees and helping old people cross the streets? If they don't have witches to fight against. Wraiths? Yeah, in fact, she killed you a few times. At least Cube seems to be a little more open this time. So, yep, I don't understand humans. True, it still harbour resentment and everything. Hmm. So is she just gonna... Are we just gonna have to wait until someone else gets picked up to be the arbiter of humanity? Wraiths instead of witches. Also, considering her wish was to protect Madoka, how does that transpire now? What does it mean? Since her wish wants to protect someone that doesn't technically exist. That bowstring on Kyubei's eye at the end. I'm in two minds. I really like the way that this has been foretold, because sure, we've got every other kind of medium and story that we've seen which takes the despair and overturns it at the end thanks to grand sacrifice or something. This didn't happen, or that didn't happen. Madoka overturned the magical girls turning into witches, taking their despair and instead releasing them of the pain when the time comes, rather than turning into something worse. So it's not reverting anything in that respect, but also the world is still being harangued by wraiths now. We're not going to change humanity overnight. We can't get rid of the darkness in our hearts, the feelings of envy, jealousy, rage, despair. So all of those negatives still get piled on and got to be released somewhere. Just not on the backs of magical girls. It's not that she gave herself up for nothing. She gave herself up for a new chance at the world, a new hope. People still got to fight for it, though. Whether you think she's a imaginary friend or not, there's always someone out there watching your back. Wow, excuse me? Is she creating her own? Yeah, just a tad bit more powerful than what we've seen her as before. Just a B2 bomber of magical girl prowess. I really liked the way that this episode, this season, this series ended. The ticker tape running to a stop. You know, the scene at hand is done. It's over. Though, forevermore, throughout all time, there'll be just a voice in the back of your mind. It's not schizophrenia. It's Madoka. She's there to help and protect you. Don't do anything to become a witch. Might be the last thing you do. She doesn't stop the occasion. She just mitigates the blast and the fallout of those actions. There's been many shows before where you have main characters sacrifice themselves. It's not a new concept, but sacrifice yourself and stop existing? I've seen it a couple of times, sure, but to become a god and still be omnipresent in it? Definitely can only be counted on a few fingers the amount of time that's been portrayed in some fashion. But the idea of the universe entropy is still occurring, it's still going on, the need for magical girl batteries is still forthwith, but 3/4 of the danger of it all is removed, just to be replaced with a bit of wraiths. Not sure the extent of the damage wraiths cause, but at least there isn't the worry about completely losing oneself. I guess that's a little weight off your own mind. Yeah. Shaft really putting things out once again. Great backgrounds in all of this season, this series. Need to remember which one to actually call it, but the design manifesto, the design work in all of this was top notch. Characters they're memorable, if nothing else. Kind of color specific, everyone has their own shade to follow through with, but seeing all of the different ones, like with even the Egyptian ones and stuff like that, nice to see the times throughout humanity where Kyubey and his ilk have kind of had their influence. Madoka really being like a peace bringer. At the end of it all, don't we all wish we could all have that ease of mind? That calm? Madoka Magica is not going to be an experience that I forget anytime soon. It is wholly a story that is going to, leave a lasting legacy, unlike its main character. The fact that it has, or was, the spawning point of a whole bunch of magical girl stories and tropes and whatnot, but in such a direct manner that hasn't been done, at least not to this extent or this well, in a long time. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, the fact we did have a main character who, in the timeline we're following, stayed a background character in their own story, a civilian, just someone there kind of along for the ride. Sure, they're the catalyst for everything happening kind of around them, but they themselves didn't take proactive action until right at the last minute, where they were pivotal, but without everything that was put in place beforehand, wouldn't have mattered quite so much. It's not a simple one just to sit down and blitz through in an evening. Madoka Magica, quite some hefty topics on it, especially when it comes to saving those that you love selling your very soul for their benefit, even if you yourself don't see the good, the runoff of it all. The fact that Sayaka got her wish, the fact that her love regained movement and capability in his arms and hands, but ultimately, well, she wasn't forgotten. He mentioned the name right there, but she wasn't able to spend the time with him that she had pined for. Sometimes, yeah, life isn't so nice, isn't so kind. At least we can hope for is to get halfway there. I really liked Madoka Magica, and hopefully you did as well. If you want to jump onto my Discord and give me suggestions of what you want to see coming up, if you want to make sure not to miss out anything that might be coming up, I said that sentence twice. Consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed this one. If I said anything entertaining, probably not enlightening, so I don't need to mention that. Leave a like on the video and a comment down below of what you thought of it all. But definitely try to take care of yourselves. Try to make the world a slightly better place than you left it. And I'll see you in the next one. I'd much rather having Madoka over my shoulder than, say, if I turned into a deity. That would traumatize people. I don't mind if you wanted to portray me as some sort of ancient deity. Unfortunately, I don't want to live up to the actual expectations. So I'm happy with just watching anime on the internet. And apparently, so is Aegis TR, Darky26, Guado, Kite, Reds Racer, Ultra Pouring, Wolfie Sensei, Zcat, Zug, and everyone else. For if it wasn't for all of you behind the scenes pulling the strings and changing my eternal fate, who knows where I'd end up. So if you want to force this channel into the minds of everyone, consider joining onto my Patreon as well.